The world of Dragon's Dogma is unforgiving. If you do not prepare properly, your journeys are going to often end up in tragedy. Especially if you travel at night without being prepared. There are some things that you should have to have in mind, to have in your inventory whenever you're going to be traveling in the world of Dragon's Dogma, and there's a couple of obvious things that you're going to want to have, and there's a couple of not so obvious things that you're going to want to have. Let's begin with the very basic of everything, a camping kit. You can find this scattered all throughout the world. Sometimes, if you're lucky enough, you can also purchase this from vendors. And there's a mechanic in Dragon's Dogma 2 where if you receive damage and you do not rest while you are fighting, while you're doing your travels, while you're exploring, you're going to receive damage to your health that cannot be returned back. You cannot regain that by using curatives, healing items, and so on and so forth. You are going to need to rest at a camping location. So I can't stress enough, there's different kind of camping kits. Some of them will lure away monsters and things like that. But ideally, just one of those guys. Just have in mind that ideally, I advise for you to have two of these guys. One just for regular purposes, but sometimes they can be destroyed if you're ambushed at night while resting. So one thing that you can do is one of the pawns that you have in your crew, you can have 3 pawns, then just have an extra set in there in the event that one gets destroyed while you get to town and you can restock on your camping kit. Remember that the camping kit, you can use it as much as possible, as much as you want. It doesn't have a limit, provided that monsters do not destroy it. Now the game is going to provide you with a lantern on itself as soon as you begin the game, so you do not have to actually go find this thing. However, I'd say that this is one of the most important things that you are going to need. One, you're going to be traversing caves. In caves, you're usually going to find very dangerous monsters like chimeras or ogres and what have you. If you do not have lanterns, you're not going to be able to see them. But also, if you're traveling out there, you haven't found an encampment, you haven't rest, the night catches you, you are going to need a lantern because you can barely see anything, and there's very dangerous creatures in the night. So I can't stress enough how important it is for you to have a lantern. Also, oil. If you're going to be exploring quite a lot, oil is going to be the living blood of your character. Night is very dangerous in this game. Dungeons are very dangerous in this game. If you do not have your lantern, if you run out of oil on your lantern, then that is not going to be bueno, that is not going to be good for you. Now, one more little advice that I have for you right here, you do not have to specifically be looking for oil at the stores in the game. Yes, you might be looking for oil at stores, but you should also take advantage of the tools that you have in the game. If you visit an inn or you go to the chest in your house, you can combine items, and this is one of the most important things because usually our food is going to rot and you're going to throw away your food. Do not do such a thing, because as you can see, if you have rotten food, you can have like several combinations. I just have like 2 available right now, but if we go over here, you can see that you can combine lots and lots and lots of rotten kind of things to produce oil, so that you never run out of oil for your so very much needed lantern. Curatives are also a very important thing, and usually, again, your food is going to rot. So there's one that I'd say that it is the most important of them all, or at least that one of my favorites, which is the dried spot. You're going to find hard spots all throughout the world if you're just picking up flowers, but they can also go to waste. If you manage to have enough ripened enough of those things, you can dry it and you can create as much dried spots as possible which you can use to climb monsters infinitely and infinitely and infinitely, and these guys are very common. It's just that they are going to waste if you do not stack up on them as much as possible. Now, I wouldn't say that this is an item, but this is a must, and as a matter of fact, we're going to have a dedicated video on why you should always at all times, it doesn't matter your party composition, it doesn't matter what kind of crew are you having, at least on the early game. Later on, when you have enough curatives, which you have to some extent, some of them, but usually it's better to depend on a mage, mainly for two reasons. The mage is going to provide you DPS, which is amazing, but also mages are going to have anodyne. Anodyne, it's a core skill, meaning that you do not have to waste a weapon skill on this thing, and this is healing. Your mage is always going to provide healing, so you don't really have to care anymore about your food going to waste, about the curatives that you have out there. A mage should always, at all times, it should be a priority. I can't stress enough how important it is for a mage to be on your crew. However, there's a little extra something that I can't stress enough how important it is for you to have a mage, and that is the affinities. The mages can give you buffs. Sometimes they are going to give you fire affinities depending on the kind of mage that you have. So it's not just having a mage on itself. When you're looking for your mage, make sure that your mage, the pawn that you're hiring from a different player, has an affinity, because the affinity is going to tremendously and vastly increase the DPS and cause debuffs on the bosses and the enemies that you have out there. And I can't stress enough how much damage, how much DPS this thing is going to increase to your crew. The rest of the things that he has, I mean, it's quite nice. Like, this is a buff in here that gives you a little bit of a defense, and then we have flagration, which also has like the flame. Like, there's all kind of support and DPS kind of things that you are going to have with mages, but the main focus, the main thing is that you should always prioritize an affinity, so that you can prioritize the maximum DPS that your entire crew can deal with while you are exploring out there in the world. So it is very important for you to have a mage as well. Remember to join the Discord, where you can share your pawns. We can get rift crystals by sharing your pawns. You can use my pawn. My pawn is quite high level. It has, like, I'm always upgrading her gear. Her weapons are always going to allow you to deal the maximum DPS. You can also hire different pawns, or someone can hire your pawn. Join the Discord, like the video, subscribe to the channel. No one's told you today you're a gorgeous and beautiful person. Joining today, gorgeous and beautiful person. Have a beautiful day, and goodbye.